Alright, back like we never left. So I had to put the game down for a day or two, and then come back to where I'm at right now. So I'm speeding through this intro while I'm trying to remember what all I got in my inventory, what all I need, what I don't need, etc. So I'm picking up my weapons, loading them up with my energy crystals that I don't have a whole lot of, and about to get into this level 10. I'm going to go into some changes in the way to approach strategies going into these later levels that I normally start with 9 10. I put a lot of emphasis early in the game on being greedy and getting as many valuables as I can into every card and every extraction point, and that was simply to accumulate my upgrades. Now at this point in this particular specific level 10, I don't have like necessarily all the strength that I would like to have, for example. But I'm still like making that transition into these different strats because I'm going to accumulate those either way. And by that I mean that instead of being greedy for every item possible, as I get into these later levels and to prepare for the even later levels, I'm not going to pay as much attention to the low value items. Because I know get this guy out of here. Alright. I'm not going to pay as much attention to the low value items because I know I'm going to make up for that value in bigger value items and the rewards I get from eliminating monsters. It's not a fantastic start. So with that being said, depending on the map, there's a lot of times that, like, whereas before I would, enjoy yourself. On most other occasions, like I was saying, where I would get like every item possible, depending on the map, there's a lot of things that I will just ignore, like items I will ignore, even like parts of maps I will ignore. Like I won't necessarily go down in basements and stuff, you know, go like up into like upper like levels or hidden areas, things like that, because I know I'm going to make up for that value, like I said, with bigger items and with the orbs from monsters that I take out. And you'll see that play out as I go along. Now I took some punishment there early, but I know I got some med packs back in the truck, so I'm not really too worried about it. The quota here is 23k and change. Also, once you get to when there are like 4 extraction points, and then later on in the game there are 5 extraction points on the maps, just getting the quota times 4 and times 5, you'll end up with 150, 200, 250k by the end of the map. So again, kind of different from the strat that I was going over and over in my earlier walkthroughs, is like I don't even worry about so much about like hoarding value at the first extraction point, just nearly as much as just clearing the quota and maybe a little bit more. Like just given this map, knowing that the quota is 23k, there are 4 extraction points, I'm totally okay with like 125 to 150k. I mean, I might get more, but I can't imagine I'd get less than that for the entire map. My weapons I'm cool with. In a perfect world, I would have more energy crystals in the truck to recharge with, but that just means I have to be a little more selective, have some trigger discipline and stuff like that. Hopefully hit my shots. But these weapons I like, especially on these maps where there are pits. The Trank and the Pulse Pistol are both great weapons. I'll say it again and again, the Pulse Pistol I think is the most underrated weapon in the whole game, if you use it right. Now, I am kind of trying to get whatever I can from the surrounding area of the truck because, you know, I just want to beat that quota. Another thing that I kind of do on these maps, once the levels get up there, is instead of just kind of hoarding, like I said, all the valuables I can, and then bring them back to the truck, like I would do with a lot of the larger items, I kind of break it down into segments, like 2 or 3 rooms surrounding each extraction point, you know, give or take. Like right now, I'll clear this room, and then I'll move on to the next extraction. Now, I still absolutely will do the strat that I've gone on and on about leaving the money bag from extract 1 sitting at extract 2 and then come back for it last. That's a strat that doesn't ever change as far as I'm concerned. Also, the way that I play the game changes a little bit once I pop up my range upgrades and extra jump upgrades and things like that. Because for a lot of the levels, I won't use any of those. I'll only use strength, stamina, and health upgrades. But then once you have those other upgrades available to you, it really opens up the way you can play and makes a lot of sticky situations less sticky. Alright, so now we're going to go find the second extraction point. There will be more and more monsters on each map as you go along. So that's the thing you gotta be ready for, obviously. Just looking at the map so far, this doesn't look like it will be a huge spread out type of map. It's not great. I've already broken 2 items that are worth a total of about 9k, so that's not great. Right about it. Now, I saw that traffic light there, and I've talked about this traffic light before, and it does have a lot of value. I mean, they usually have like around anywhere from 15 to 25k that I've seen. But I don't know that I'm going to mess with it because of this room here that's this big circle, and knowing how awkward that thing is, and knowing that 15 or 20k is not going to make or break my level, and also I feel like pretty easily earn that 15 or 20k back from eliminating monsters. So I'm thinking, the more I think about it, the less I think I'm even going to mess with that traffic light at all. You know, I just saw that T-set, which makes it a lot easier to let that traffic light go, because that T-set is going to be about 20k. Yeah, I just want to get rid of him. Okay, he's going to chill down at that bottom. He's so far away now, he won't even, like, get me. You know, I missed his feet, and he did not miss me. Playing shotgun games. Alright, so that's the range that the bow tie has. That's good to know. I mean, I already kind of knew that, but now you guys know that. You know, this isn't a disaster so far, but there are definitely a few mistakes here and there that I think were avoidable, like that orb that just broke on the wall. I should have been able to grab that instead of staring at that bow tie. But that's okay. My L's are your W's. Ducky's still down here chilling. Take him real quick. His orb is like another 2k or so. Yeah, so that makes up for a little bit of... No. Makes up for some of the items that I broke earlier. Yeah, now we're gonna unload this stuff here. Just leave it here. I'm going to bring that T-set down here as well. Also with my strength upgrades, I'm not where I would love to be. I pretty sure I'm at 8 right now. I would like to be at 9 or 10 going into level 10. But 8's good. This tea set that I'm talking about, it's worth like... Let's get to that in a second. Now, also being on level 10, I'm on the second moon phase, which means that the monsters take less damage when you throw them into pits. So whereas throwing the trudge down there once would have eliminated them earlier, it takes a little bit more than that. Okay, now I'm going to go back down here. This orb that I just got from the trudge, I'm going to set this down here. Because the way that I'm going to move that tea set on the big platter, the way that I'm going to move it down here, I can't have that orb in my cart. It all makes sense. Like I was saying about the strength upgrades on that tea set, though, it's fairly a heavy item, and it's really kind of precarious to move around because each piece on it is separate. It can slide around and fall off and break off, and you know, anything that breaks off or takes damage, it decreases the overall value of the whole set. But once you get like 6 or 7 or 8 strength upgrades, and when you know the point to grab it on with your grabber, it becomes a lot less difficult. And once you know how to put it on your cart to move it. Now I want you to pay attention exactly where I grabbed it with my grabber. Because if you grab it like in different spots in that main tea kettle in the middle, that teapot in the middle, it will rock and shift the whole thing all over the place. There's like really like pretty much one spot where you can grab it and safely lift it up and move it. And even then you have to be pretty careful. So you'll see now the whole thing is sitting flat on top of the cart. If that orb from the trudge would have been in my cart, it just would, it would just fall right off. So that kind of speaks for itself. But you do still kind of got to be careful because the physics of the game, if you're not careful, we'll slide that whole thing off the top of the cart. Yeah, each one of these cups and this little pitcher and this jar, each one of them except for the teapot in the middle, if you're not careful with it, they'll slide off and break and take a lot of value off the whole thing. Which is like what? Like almost 19K. Okay, so we got a good amount of stuff sitting there. We're just going to leave that stuff there and go find extract number 3. The levels, once I get to like 8 and 9 and 10, they really start to, for me anyway, the way I play the game, I start to get through them, I'd say quite a bit faster than the levels before them. Because the levels before them, I am spending way more time trying to get everything. So I might spend an hour on a level 5 or 6 map. I mean, that's not common, but I'm just saying 45 minutes. But then a level 10 map or a level 11 or 12, half an hour, done. I mean, it's just a lot quicker to get the value from taking out 2 or 3 monsters with a shotgun than it is to find, you know, 22K in value in items. So it does speed up the overall time it takes to complete the level, I think. I have to move a few things around here. With this big milk carton to fall out or knock other things out. Especially with the little orb chilling in there. One little orb in your cart can, like, as you're moving the cart around, can cause things to shift and it can just turn into chaos. I bet you I can get that milk thing to sit up straight.
Yeah.
So this might add like a minute to my time it takes me to finish this level, but I think it's worth it. Rather than have to clean things up later and replace the value of things that might get damaged or broken. Because my luck, I don't know how your all's luck is, but my luck is it'll go like sideways right when I'm in the middle of like having 3 monsters come at me at the same time. Okay, we're in there. It's crazy I can't move the kid with like 8 strength upgrades. We'll just wait for him to go away. You would think I would know the like strength cap on all the monsters by now, but I don't. Most of them I do. I don't want him to grab my items and throw them at me, the Rugrat. Go do his thing. Okay, so we have enough to need the quota for the next extract. It looks like things are going to get a little spicy before then. Take off running a lot of times after you stun him do damage to him, so that's good. Okay, so I definitely can't fit that orb in my card. So I think we'll come back for that. Shadow Child at this stage of the game, I rarely worry about at all. Unless I just adjust for 2000. Gonna be such a non-threat. Alright, goes number 3. Now remember guys, if you come across this particular extract walking into the room, be careful because there's a giant rectangle right in front of the door. Looks like it's wide open, you know, path straight to it. If the shadows are wrong, or if, you know, the darkness on your monitor is heavy. But I learned the hard way, so I'm trying to keep you guys from doing the same thing. Alright, now I will go back and pick a few things up, because I know that there's like this boombox, there's some orbs, I could probably fight a couple more monsters. Something cooking up there. Who is up here? I will also, as the levels go up, I don't go out of my way to avoid fights like across the board, but I will like not take every fight like maybe I will earlier. Simply because on the earlier maps, you know if you're fighting 1 or 2 monsters that there's not going to be 3 more coming around the corner. But when you get later on the levels, there can definitely be 3 or more coming around the corner. And I don't necessarily want to get down there with Crossfire. Not that I'm worried about Ducky, but I know the bow tie is there. And I haven't seen a ton of other monsters. I know I took that Headman out earlier, and he'll be respawning. So I kind of want to let these guys get out of the way, especially since I know that this third extraction point is right around the corner. It's worth more to me to get this cart to that extraction and close it than it is to get caught up in a weird fight. Still have plenty of ammo and everything, so I'm good with that. But I like to, especially in situations like this where I don't have a ton of ammo, but when I have the trank gun, it can be really, really crucial and important in getting to the end of the map, to the end of the level. So I don't want to use up all my charges on it before then. Yeah, there's that. knew he was going to be back before too much longer. Another number that I should know that I don't is the spawn timer. You know that every enemy has a specific spawn timer in accordance with the levels as you go through them, how long it takes them to respawn after you eliminate them. I just don't know what those numbers are. I am going to take a quick look up here just in case, you know, there's like a graffiti horse or a blender or some big money item. You know, since they've done this newest update, I haven't seen the horse a whole lot. I think it used to be on in the museum like, all the time. But I guess they don't want to put like a 40k item on the map like every time you play it. I don't blame them. Not sure what this trudge is up to, so I want to find out. There's that pit in the middle of that room. Force come to Rose. I don't think I'm going to worry about forcing the action right now. There's more value in closing this extract and getting to the fourth one. Now you'll see I got almost 50k right now, and the quota is only 23k. So even without trying to be greedy, I mean, I'm still like more than doubling the quota. So that's why I'm not like as greedy as I was in the beginning levels. Oh man, I'm glad he didn't turn around and come at me. The up screen, no threat. Man, he's super annoying, especially when there are pits around. I do have the extra jump grades, the extra jump upgrade now, so that helps. But you just saw how easy he is to take out, especially when you come up behind him and he's not facing you. And just having those few reach upgrades, I have 3 of them, I believe. Just having those right now makes situations like that a lot easier to deal with. I mean, because he's already weak, the up screen, he's already a weak opponent, but in that situation, I don't have to get anywhere near as close in order to grab him, so it even, like, grades the odds of him not turning around and just... and for it to go as smoothly as it should. Alright, I did see that caterpillar in the corner. I'm going to come back for that, for sure. Those are usually, like, 10, 15k in value. Looking at this map, this fourth extract is in one of these rooms. These 2 rooms. It's not there, so that means this room over here. And over time, you'll get used to just the layouts of the maps and how it's set up. And when you get into a cluster of just a few rooms, you'll be able to know how to narrow down where the extraction points are. This is a tricky, like, setup to get to this extract until you, like, get the hang of it. And even then, it can get weird. Let's get my boy out of here. There we go. That's another thing those reach upgrades are super good for. Grabbing those orbs out of the pits. So many of them, if you don't have the reach upgrades, you just gotta basically watch them break. But you get a couple reach upgrades, you can grab them from really far away, obviously. Another thing that the combination of reach and strength do, well, I'll get to that thought in a second. You know what? Slow. I don't think I have to worry about it. What I was going to say is another good thing about the combination of strength upgrades and reach upgrades is in a room that's tricky, like this one right here, I can stretch out my range. At the same time, my strength is such that I can do things like set this down, pick it up, use my range and strength to lift it up above me. Now be careful right here, and I'm gonna show you why. I'm not gonna lie, that was a pretty fair amount of panic. I kind of thought I was a goner for a fraction of a second. There's that hole right here in the ground. I'll show it to you guys in a second. I mean, you guys just saw what happened. But it's like, it's there basically to freak you out. I have lost huge items. I've lost whole carts up here before, over the edge. Another thing that strength and reach come in handy for. It's a good thing to know. Now, to do that, you can't do it from the front like you do when you normally push the cart around. You have to grab it from one side or the other. But when you do, you can maneuver the whole cart up and over things. Yeah, just be careful of that hole there. That hole is there every single time in this particular room. This one right. Yeah. I don't know if the whole cart can fall through it or not. I haven't experienced that, but I've fallen through that hole more times than I'd like to talk about. I am kind of glad, and I've said this before in one or two of my other videos, I'm kind of glad to make some mistakes like that and not do everything perfect so that you guys can see what it looks like when things don't go perfect. How to rebound from a mistake or how to get out of a sticky situation. I think those are really good things to know that I think a lot of people, better players than me, don't necessarily go over. And I don't even fault them for it because, especially the players that are so much better than me, they're so good they don't even make those mistakes. You know what I mean? So I hope things like that are as useful as I think they can be. All right, now we're right back to number 2. Now this is gonna close out final extraction. You guys see how much faster this goes. Now it did help that this wasn't a great big spread out huge like area of map, but also when I'm not greeting for every item, it goes a lot faster. I think. Okay, we'll load those up. Get the cart a little bit ready. I'm gonna throw this green cup in. There. If I can set this tray right on top of that cup, I know I can. I didn't really turn it sideways like I wanted to. That's okay. We'll just back it out. Yeah. No biggie. Again, bonus 23. We got almost 63. 131k. I think I called 125 to 150, so that's right on par. Now on the way back to the truck, now I'll tell you what has gotten me messed up so many times is trying to sprint back to the truck. I have ended games so many times trying to be in a hurry to get back to the cart. I hit with this trank, they're down for 15 seconds. And it doesn't make sense to eliminate them because I can't cast the orb in. So the value is all about getting to the truck and getting the next level, which is what we're doing right now. So guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along for the level 1 through 10 ride. And I'll see you in more videos after this. I love that all you guys are taking the time to watch any of what I'm doing, and I sure do appreciate you. Peace.